and then like totally like waffle, but just like delay it. So be like, oh, totally guilty. Oh, I don't know, that last witness really got me going. LOL. But just be like really, really like exaggerated about it the whole time. I know you can't like talk about the actual case.
Oh, Rafflecopper, that judge looks pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dang! Objection.
This is PodKit, Episode 3, Nanodegree Designer, on Friday, June 5th, 2015. And now, pardon my French, but it's swaggin'. This episode of PodKit is hosted by Brandon Johnson, Brian Mitchell, and Ryan Rampersad.
All right.
Welcome to PodKit, Episode 3.
Third
That's
one.
us. Yep. Big
Amazing.
week.
This far.
Huge week.
Huge week indeed. So we got some follow-up, a couple pieces of follow-up. So I see we've got one in here. I think we have another one that's not yet in here. I'll see if I can grab it while we're talking about the first one.
Okay.
But the first is from friend of the show, Andrew Bailey. Is that right?
Yes, very, very friendly Andrew Bailey, the only listener of all Nexus shows.
Sorry.
That's fine. For some reason, I think... Was it really from episode 1? This is the feedback from it? I don't know. I don't know if that's right. Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Feedback. Still
yeah.
feedback.
So...
Yeah, I think he watched both of them. So
Okay.
That's the first one. I've got one from Ian Buck, which I just added.
Okay.
And then there's another one
There's
from...
so much feedback. I don't even know what I'm doing.
I know. We're getting so much feedback right now.
It'll get sent to my junk folder, too, which I do check, but...
Well, so the feedback that I get from the CMS goes into this secret label in Gmail called the Nexus feedback, and I never remember to read it.
Understood. Well, see, I just whitelisted that address that it comes from.
Good.
And as a result, I've been getting all the feedback.
Excellent.
See, I use Apple Mail.
Okay, so first of all, Andrew Bailey says, wonderful new podcast. Yeah, he's pretty much opposed to the ARM ecosystem if it became an all-ARM ecosystem.
That makes sense. That's totally fair for the reasons that we stated in episode 1.
Mm-hmm. I think it makes a lot of sense that there would be a mixed ecosystem. ARM is good for some things, but not good for everything.
Like multiple Chrome tabs, for example.
Pretty much when the word multiple comes into play, it's not good for that.
Good point.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And he got a new keyboard. Some kind
DOS
of
keyboard.
DOS
It
keyboard.
has no labels whatsoever. I'm not that confident.
Yeah, I think he actually he was on 8-bit and he showed his keyboard to us. I don't know if we took a picture or not, but that would be tough.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so I'm looking at DOS keyboard right now, and it is pardon my French, but it's swaggin'. Yeah, that is one cool board for keys.
At least he did pick the proper key flavor, which is brown.
Totally. Oh, and there's like some sort of wheel attached to it. What is this?
Isn't that for volume? I'm not sure.
Oh, well, see, it would be cool if it was like one of those like Logitech programmable wheels, right? So where you can just tell it to do whatever you want. It can just like actuate anything. That would be cool. I wonder if that's what it is, or if it is just for volume.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yep,
guess it could
oversized
be
volume knob. You're right.
reprogram it to be a scrobbler? How awful.
Yes. All the hip DJs.
Yeah.
It'll be as useful as like a pitch wheel on a MIDI keyboard that no one ever uses.
Wow. What?
I don't know. I've used keyboards in high school with pitch wheels, and no one ever did it other than just to mess with people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, totally.
So then we also have Ian Buck's feedback. This is for episode 2, because we're reaching really far back in our feedback bag here.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. He's not sure if a smartwatch is for him. It might be, but they have to make a good one first.
That's fair. And there was actually...
I was on my wrist, Ian.
Well, you know Ian Buck isn't going to be getting an Apple Watch, so...
Oh, because that means he needs an iPhone.
He needs an iPhone, which isn't going to happen because Ian is Mr. Google.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess you're right, that does kind of, A, that makes a lot of sense. B, that kind of squashes the very thing that I was trying to look for here and plop into the show notes. Mashable, Christina Warren from Mashable, who I've told you guys before,
Yep.
probably in episode 1, is like one of my favorite tech journalists in the universe,
Mhm.
present company excluded, of course. Let's see. She and Lance Ulanoff, another writer for Mashable, had this really interesting discussion about whether the Apple Watch was a flop or was like the highest performing flop, I think is the phrase they used, or whether it was just like a regular old flop.
Yeah, that's really hard to even like. What was their? What did they determine?
Well, I'm loading it up right now, but it sounds like to me it sounds like they generally say that. I think Lance kind of won out. Lance was the one who said that it's really wildly successful and they're just not telling us about it. Christina basically said, yeah, it might be successful, but everyone's kind of bored of it now because they can't get it quickly enough, or they can't. Or
They're
if they
catching
do
up,
have
though.
it.
They're doing. I think they're only a couple weeks out from being caught up now.
Yeah,
All
you're
the
right.
players.
I think it's just like a 2-week wait now. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
And I think they will only start selling them in store once they've sold all the online orders for it. Like on a model by model basis, maybe. I'm not sure. I saw
Yeah.
something on Twitter the other day.
I think it's really hard for people. So I don't know what normal people, like non-tech people, think of the watch. And I know what non-tech people think of the iPhone. I think it's a really nice phone. But I haven't heard what normal people think about the watch. And so I don't know if the reception is broad enough to say if it's a flop or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's mostly just worn by tech people at this point.
Yeah.
I know of one person in particular, a coworker of mine who's a communicator, not a developer, but somebody who's familiar enough with tech that he knows what the Apple Watch is, and he is just like addicted to it. He loves it. He got one for his wife too, and he said that they are like absolutely loving it 100%.
Good.
They also work for a company that they work in a workplace where technology is pretty darn present. So it's I guess it's hard
Borderline
to say
tech
whether
people.
that's
Yeah.
So even though they're not like technical individuals,
Right.
Their job
They're
is to do with
surrounded by a
technology.
lot of it. So.
They're surrounded by it. Exactly. But no, that's really interesting. And I mean, the Moto 360 is it's definitely interesting. I've seen a lot of those around campus.
I've never seen anybody on campus actually wearing a smartwatch.
Oh, really?
There's one person in Morris, Paul Schleep, Ian will know him.
Yeah, I know.
Computer science major. I think he was on some show at one point. He was the circle one with a little line.
Yeah, that's the Moto 360.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I just saw him wearing it at the last day of classes or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I know of at least 2 students in my CSI 1933 that had the Moto 360 or like the LG, the LG watch.
The Gwatch.
The Gwatch, but not the Urbane one, not the...
that word doesn't
the
even
other
make
one.
sense. Whatever that means, I don't know.
I think you have to put the emphasis on Bane, like in Batman.
You're Bane.
Tom Hardy. For strawberries.
So I'm also interested in the second generation Moto 360. As you can tell, I've stopped wearing my Fitbit.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem with the Fitbit is that it doesn't do anything other than tell me the time when I ask it what time it is.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of times when I'm walking up to the train or walking up to the bus or walking up to something and I don't necessarily want to take my ridiculously huge phone out of my pocket because I'm
Totally.
standing in a concrete death trap. I would just prefer to ask my watch, hey, how's it going? How's Twitter? Tell me about it.
That's one of the things that I love about my Apple Watch.
You actually ask your watch, hey, how's it going?
Oh, that's what I ask everyone. Even the cat. Hey, how's it going, cat?
That's how you ask. That's how you start like every podcast. Hey, how's it going?
We should,
That's true.
We should, yeah. I wonder if there's a way you can change like your Siri greeting, or well, maybe not Siri, but possibly like your Google Now greeting or something to be like to respond to "Hey, how's it going?"
I'm sure I could
Maybe that
figure
would
it out.
Maybe that would be dangerous.
Maybe.
This would happen all the time. almost as much as I say any which way.
Oh, there we go.
Oh crap!
But that
not
was
again.
intentional. Does it count?
Yeah, it counts.
I
Just
don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Mark it.
Okay, I'll mark it. Yeah, so
Go
let's see. What
for
else
it.
do we have here? Ian made a Twitter account just earlier this semester, last semester.
Yay!
And he's
Yeah.
only number 3.04 billion or so.
That's pretty darn good. I mean, 3 billion. That's like what? Only half the world's population's on Twitter. In theory, if one person only had one account, which of course
It's
among
false.
the three of us, we know that that's 100% false.
Yeah.
But
It's only 5. Only a 5.
let's see.
I'm not going to even
I'm
go.
following
I don't even want to know.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm following Ian.
Yeah. Ian is an RSS user. A RSS user.
Yes, he really is. He was attacked when Google Reader shut down. He had to switch to Feedly.
Oh no.
Everybody had to do that back then.
Yeah, see, I'm on Feedly right now. I'm trying to decide whether I should use David Smith's service, Feed Wrangler, instead. But
Let's
I don't
see.
know.
What is it called? News Blur? News something?
David Smith's? Or...
I don't know. There's one I follow,
Yeah.
Feed Reader. News Blur, I think, is the one I have been looking at. So if I ever needed an alternative to Feedly, and I don't know if I do, but I would probably try News Blur. The prices are pretty decent, I think, and they have apps across the platform, and their website's pretty cool too.
Yeah,
$24 a year isn't a big deal for me.
absolutely.
It also looks like Ian wasn't a huge fan of our hour and 45-minute episode last week.
Yeah, that kind of just happened.
We're shooting for an hour this week.
So
How long
I've got a timer this time. I don't even know where the camera is. Why are the sunglasses on the screen again?
Because
Never stops.
And so I started this a couple minutes late, so just add like 2 minutes, so like 8 minutes-ish now.
Okay. Sounds good.
And when I truncate it, it'll still be 8 minutes, so it doesn't matter.
Cool.
Anything else here for feedback? Anything that catches your eye?
Let's see. There was one other thing. It was nice of him to point out that there is that there are some places where you can just, if you have an unlocked phone, you can buy a SIM card from a local carrier. And actually, I'm thinking pretty strongly about getting a SIM card for 3s when I go abroad.
Oh yeah,
because 3, of course, is well regarded, and if I get it in one place, I can take it basically throughout Europe and use it without losing all that stuff that I paid for. Even though I'm not going to be there for a full month, I'm just going to be there for a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, I need to do some research, but I'll probably just ask family and things. But
nice. Yeah,
later.
I guess. Mm-hmm. I guess the one thing is that there's I don't know if this iPhone 5 I have that's very old. It's been in the family for years. By years I mean like 5 years maximum. Wait, has the 5? It hasn't been 5 years since.
No, not 5.
Whatever, like 3 years.
Yeah.
How does math work? How does time work? I don't know.
How do those S's work? Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole nother story. But I don't know if it's really unlocked or not. There's some speculation that every Verizon LTE phone comes pre-unlocked, but I don't really buy that because Verizon is evil.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm gonna have to take it in tomorrow because tomorrow is the last day that Verizon's open, and I am in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and to figure it out. But we'll have to see. So
Yeah,
but
I don't even know
nonetheless-
what is their unlocking policy like.
I mean, the 5 is out of contract, so they basically, I mean, theoretically, I should own it, or someone in my family should theoretically own the device.
Oh,
theoretically.
Yeah,
But, I mean, it's Verizon, so Verizon owns us all,
pretty much.
including our souls,
It's unfortunate.
till the day we die.
Mm-hmm.
But, Anywho, there's some other stuff that we have to talk about that's kind of fallout from last week.
Okay.
I've been absolutely going crazy with Apple Pay since last week.
Isn't it great?
I have bought way too many ridiculous things with Apple Pay that I probably should not have purchased. Bought is not a word. I'm a journalism major. Remember that, guys. Any which way.
Just mark it. Just remember your Oscar comma.
So I used Apple Pay just a ton. Earlier this week when it started raining, I think it was Wednesday when it was raining really bad in downtown Minneapolis, I realized that I did not have an umbrella. I realized the reason I did not have an umbrella is because I don't own an umbrella. I usually wear a jacket, but I was silly and I did not think to bring a jacket that day. So I was stuck on the West Bank and I was like, crap, what am I going to do? But I found the law school bookstore. And usually the bookstore is not a place where you go if you want to find reasonably priced goods.
No.
But I was kind of desperate, so I waltzed into the bookstore and said, good afternoon, pal. Have you an umbrella to spare? And they said, why are you talking like that? And sort of. and they pointed me towards these fancy little 3M umbrellas that were quite nice. Yes, 3M branded umbrellas. Well, the sticker on them said 3M. It wasn't like I was waltzing around, with a 3M umbrella that actually had 3M on the umbrella or anything, but it was kind of cool. And sure enough, I could pay for it with Apple Pay. So I didn't even care about how much it cost. It turned out to be like $15, so it wasn't that bad. But as far as umbrellas go, but I was so psyched that they accepted Apple Pay.
And so did you use the watch to do it?
You betcha. I didn't take my phone out of my pocket.
That's good.
And then later that day, when I got over to my office, I realized that we had some of those vending machines, the fancy Coca-Cola vending machines.
They have Apple Pay as well.
Yep.
I have one at work that does that. I haven't used it yet. It's going to be dangerous once I start it.
It is so dangerous. I didn't think it was going to work because it's actually all still branded ISIS, which is unfortunate for geopolitical reasons. But I mean,
what is it called now?
Works.
Soft
wallet or soft card, bank?
Soft card.
Soft card, that's it. SoftBank is a wireless provider, not a bank.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But yes, it's all ISIS branded still, which is like, come on, pals, get it together.
Nope.
But it works. I used it first to buy a can of Sprite, and that was a very expensive can of Sprite, but it was worth it. And then after it worked with the can of Sprite, I was freaking out because, who knew that of all places my UDS dining services and the bookstore would be like some of the most forward-thinking places around when it comes to that sort of thing. And sure enough, it worked just fine. And I bought some trail mix, and I bought a Rice Krispie bar.
Did you buy this all of it, like one time?
No, I did it in 4 separate transactions.
Yeah, but like, you didn't like walk away. You just bought them 4 times in a row.
Yeah, I was just freaking out about how awesome it was that I could pay for things with my watch.
That is pretty good.
I was like a kid in a candy store, or rather a kid using a vending machine that I could pay for with my watch.
Man, I should have seen that.
It was awesome.
You could have periscoped it.
I would have, but my phone was actually back at my desk.
Well, okay then. See, there
How
you
did
go.
Apple Pay work, or is it close enough?
Well, my desk is kind of on like the far wing of the building, which is really nice for like watching sunrises and stuff, but it's not so useful for getting stuff from the vending machine.
But you said your phone was at your desk, but you used Apple Pay still?
Yeah, you don't need to have the phone to use Apple Pay.
You don't? Then how does it connect, or does it not, and it just authorizes the next payment? Or next internet?
I think it authorizes it with a hash. I'm not sure. But I think basically what the watch sends is like a hash of the.
Oh, I guess it. Okay, yeah, that would make sense because I guess the vending machine would be connected to the internet. Okay.
Exactly.
I just, of course, assume it's a vending machine. Why would it be connected to the internet? But
man, what a world we live in.
Yeah.
No IoT, none of that.
None of that.
None of that.
Okay.
Maybe.
So and then one more kind of corollary to this is that after on the way home I stopped at Lunds and Byerly's because it's now no longer just Byerly's or just Lunds, but Lunds and Byerly's.
Yeah.
And I got some cookies that because their cookies are phenomenal. Shout out to white chocolate cranberry cookies that are made with basically 100% butter. They're phenomenal. And I paid for those with Apple Pay too because Byerly's is also really fancy and advanced when it comes to that sort of thing. So believe it or not, everyone's like, Apple Pay. Everyone that I work with at least has been all like, oh, well, where are you going to use Apple Pay? McDonald's? You're going to go to McDonald's every day?
That would suck. Cause, if you're driving up, I guess you would have to swipe on the outside or something.
Yeah, it's really weird. I've never done it with a drive-through. I've only ever done it in person.
What if you wore your watch on your other hand?
I do. That's the trick. I wear it on my right hand because I'm left-handed.
It would be basically impossible to swipe at a drive-up then.
Yeah, basically. I'd have to like turn completely around.
That would suck.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So at that point, you just give them your phone, but then you don't have the 6. I've never used Apple Pay myself.
What? No. Oh my gosh.
Because I'm in Morris, I don't go out to things very much, and my credit card I use a credit union, and it didn't support Apple Pay until I think it was like end of February, so right around spring break, and I just wasn't at a place that used it, and I don't go out that much just to buy random stuff, so I just wasn't at a place that used it, and so I used it for the first time on my Apple Watch at Walgreens getting some candy for work.
Nice. Oh, that's the way to go. That's so cool.
And the second time I went back, I didn't use Apple Pay because I like to use cash when I'm buying something in person, and then I pretty much use my credit card when it's online.
Me too.
Or large things, and it's a good way of helping me. Like, okay, is this worth spending? Because it's like a physical, I'm losing money out of my wallet versus I'll just pay for it at the end of the month.
That's weird. Well, when I say that's weird, what I mean is that's totally logical. But I do it very differently. I use my credit card for almost everything, and it's because I have like I'm very diligent about being notified by that, right? So when anytime a charge goes through, I get an instant ping from my card company saying, "Yep, it went through," or "No, it didn't go through," or "You idiot, why are you spending money on this thing?" But the thing that works really well for me is that at the end of every month, I can look back and analyze how much money I've wasted on food trucks, for example, at lunch. I guess if it's for food, I don't really know how you can call it wasted, but like you can determine, I can see where I'm like spending more money than I want to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And otherwise with cash, I would just like lose track of it instantly. Because I mean, while cash is a physical thing that I'd be giving up, like there's no record of it. There's no paper trail, which is what kills me as a analytics driven person.
It's funny because
I kind of feel the same.
Yeah.
But,
well, I always tell people, I always buy with cash because I don't want to be tracked.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. I want to be tracked all the time. Okay.
You want to be tracked by those who you want to be tracked by.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Speaking of which, I'll be tweeting a lot over the next couple days, especially if I have internet access. If I don't have internet access, then I won't be tweeting at all. So if you want to politely, non-intrusively track me, you can track me on Twitter.
Make sure you use Twitter location on all your tweets. So
you bet.
And what handle did they use for Twitter to do that?
What would I use?
No, what username? You got to tell them.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me. Who am I?
Who are you?
I don't know. What am I doing here? I am at Brandon_Amen. There's an underscore in there somewhere. First, it's my first name, then it's an underscore, and then it's the state in which I live. Correct.
And they're going to talk about how many A's and O's there are in Brandon and the order, and you're going to get confused and just spell it out. Like the first episodes.
I really did that the same way twice. Wow. I'm predictable.
Think so.
I think I did it slightly differently the second time.
Yeah, a little different, but the same thing happened.
The same thing happens because I am detail-oriented.
Well, we're going to see what happens later when we actually have to do it again.
Yeah, that's for sure. Also, you should mark that any which way a couple seconds ago.
Oh my gosh, do I have to?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I caught it.
I got it.
Although my mouse is disconnected from my computer, so that's probably why I was focusing on the lack of mouse.
Gotcha. No problem. But we got some interesting topics to talk about.
Actually, before we start that, I wanted to say one quick thing.
Yeah.
Tweetbot for Mac 2 came out, and it's the best.
Oh, yeah, put a link. Yeah. Let's talk about that and put a link in.
I need to buy this thing.
So it's down to $13 now.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't bought it, because it's $20 now, it's $13.
Uh-huh. So let me tell you, I never use the app anymore because I just open a tab and just use Chrome or whatever. And that's fine with me for these, tweetings that I do on the MacBook Air. But I remember paying $20 for that thing, all those years ago.
How long did you use it for?
I don't know. A long time. Like when I would repeatedly open it and close it during the day. Like, oh, I'm going to tweet now. And then, I would tweet for 20 minutes, as I do. Oh, I'm done tweeting. I'm getting out of here. And
that's the problem. You have to keep it open all the time. It's one of the apps on my desktop here that opens at login.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really dark.
Yeah. And
I don't know. It felt really heavy as an app, and I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. This version I think is a little lighter. It the sidebar where it shows your feed, your mentions, your direct messages, favorite search, profile lists, and mutes. It's now like a dark translucent, and if it's not the focused window, it's I think a solid color, but it's not black, but a solid dark color. But it matches the Tweetbot 3 for iOS or for iPhone a lot in the sense that your feed is white background has kind of the flat look now. And then your selected tweet has a dark background, so pretty much just matching the iPhone version.
Awesome.
Which keeps it uniform and
Yeah.
makes a lot
It's
of
funny
sense.
to read the reviews of the new one, like 2 stars, 2 stars, 4 stars. Like nobody knows how to review apps these days.
Oh, totally.
Well, I think like there are other desktop Twitter apps, the main Twitter one, but and I guess Twitterific 5, but that I don't know. I feel like no one's putting a ton of effort into them.
Yeah, because Twitter.
Kind of do a big release, and then that's kind of all. Minor things here and there, but
I don't really blame anyone for not working on the Twitter apps anymore. But you should also consider that you guys using those Macs full time. So lucky, because on Windows we got nothing.
yeah,
That's true. Well, you can run Rainbow Stream, right? It's just Python, all that is.
It's not native-ish.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
There's one Twitter app I use on Fedora, which is built for GNOME 3 and looks wonderful. It matches GNOME so well.
Which one?
I don't remember. I'd have to boot into it. I can do that after we're done and put it in the notes.
Yeah,
No problem.
And then I can let you know, and Brandon and Ryan, you can do a voiceover that's cut in saying the name of the app is.
Yeah, I can cut in, and actually the name of the app is Corebird. I think we have a link in the show notes for you to go look at it also.
The only thing it doesn't support is Tweetmarker, which I love to sync between Tweetbot on my iPhone and my desktop, because I could use iCloud, but then if I ever feel like trying out another Twitter app that supports Tweetmarker, I don't have to scan to where I last saw my last tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have the same service. It's called just going up to the top. It's free, it's universal, implemented everywhere.
I do basically do that. That is what I do, essentially.
There are browser plugins for Tweetmarker, I believe. At least there was at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I try and at least see every tweet
Uh-huh.
all the time. And I haven't missed one since 2011 when I was at camp for a month and only had my phone for one weekend at the halfway point. And I'm not going to read through 2 weeks of tweets.
Good choice.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not a Twitter completionist, which is probably because I follow an obnoxious amount of people, as has been well documented.
I follow 237 on my tech account, which is several hundred tweets a day, maybe like 600 a day, which isn't too bad because I don't know, I check it when I'm on my computer constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Every 5 tweets I'll look at it. When I'm at work, I check over lunch, and then I usually have 120 or 30. Then on my personal account, I follow 227, but like half of them are inactive, or like a third are inactive at least. So because that account's been around for a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
I checked 8 minutes ago, and since then I have 3 tweets.
I checked a couple seconds ago, and since then I have 8 tweets.
Oh my gosh.
I'm checking now on the latest. Oh wait, that's just one account.
Yeah, in the past minute, I got 8 tweets.
How do you live?
The last tweet I have is 52.
That's
53.
why you don't even know your own Twitter name.
It might have something to do with it, yeah.
Just make a new account.
Oh.
Add one more to the list.
No way.
So yeah, I recommend Tweetbot for Mac too. It's reduction in price. Nearly all the same features. A couple that people I've seen been asking the main developer to add in. He said, "Oh, right about this. It's getting the new quote tweet view coming in version 2.1."
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it matches Yosemite a lot more. It feels lighter because it's not as much custom UI.
I definitely agree. I appreciate its lightness.
Oh, totally.
Otherwise, I think it has nearly the same features. It basically a UI change and matches the look of the iPhone version for version 3. I know a lot of the code is shared between the versions, at least a shared framework and a lot of slightly modified code.
Mm-hmm.
So that will hopefully mean more updates in the Mac version to match features in the iPhone version. That's what I'm hoping.
My gosh. Okay, I can't believe this. You can add columns to it. Columns to it. Like, I can look at my shorter list alongside my main list, and it's like, thank you, Paul. Paul Haddad, developer, Tweetbot. You're an awesome person.
But it's Todd Thomas who does the Mac version.
Oh, really?
Paul helps a little bit. You should follow Todd. He's good to follow.
Yeah. Todd.
Another 400 tweets.
Yeah.
Actually tweeted at him today saying, great work on it. Is a way to show profile photos as rounded rectangles instead of circles, because I like to see more of the image if I can. I swear, I looked at the settings like 10 times, and I couldn't find the setting. And so I tweeted at him. And he said, thanks. Did you check the preferences? And of course, then I look, and it's right there. And so I tweeted at him, super mega facepalm. I swear I checked the preferences many times. All good now. And so he must have looked at my profile, because he said, as long as you're a first-year comp sci, I guess I could cut you some slack.
Oh.
And then I go, finished my third year a month ago.
Oh.
Checkboxes must have played tricks on me.
Yeah.
So that was my moment of shame for the week.
That's so awesome that as a developer he's available to talk like that, even if he's sassy.
Yeah, he's good. Some new like tiny little features in version 3.2 that I like. If you want me to keep talking about Tweetbot,
totally do it.
So retweets, instead of retweet and says who it's by, it's now retweet a little mini profile photo of the user who retweeted and then their username or their full name, which I like. It also will show if the person tweeted from Tweetbot for iOS, it will show a little square to match an iPad or iPhone next to the time of the tweet. So it's just subtle, showing. Maybe that might be a feature I enabled though. Actually, there's a defaults flag that I entered in. Anyway, that's updated. So instead of covering over the profile photo, I can see when people using Tweetbot for Mac or for iOS tweet. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the Tapbots people, so Paul, Mark, and Todd have little Tapbot logos next to their profile photos.
I was just going to say, I love that they do that. It is so awesome. I think that's the mark of a great Mac app right there. When they do like something little and tiny like that, that's a little bit, a little bit whimsical, but really, it's really just like a nice way to, well, A, to call out who made the darn thing, and B, to, as kind of like a hat tip to that. That's awesome. So I know that there was some talk about updating the iPad app too for Tweetbot. Still working on it? Okay.
Which is in such a desperate need of an update.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to decide whether I want to use the iPhone version on my iPad, because I have a feeling that would be a better experience than any other Twitter app that I have, like on my iPad right now. I
use Tweetbot 2 for my iPad, and like I'm used to it. That's the only version I've ever used there, but it just doesn't match. I mean, it's no new features have been added in a long time. Yeah. I mean, a couple of small things, but I think they're focusing. It's coming out this year, I know.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Although I'm sure iOS 9 will delay things a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But probably not too much unless they change things. I liked Paul's tweet. Let me find it here. He tweeted right when Tweetbot for Mac 2 came out yesterday, saying, Apple announces paid Mac app upgrades next week. I'm probably going to get escorted out. He's going to WWDC, so.
Nice.
Yeah, there's no way you could possibly just see what I showed you on a white screen.
Cool. So yeah, Tweetbot for Mac too. I like it. Thumbs up. Oh, and columns. I use one column for one account, one column for my other account. So that's how I watch both timelines.
Yeah, I've got one for my Firehose, and then the other one for my my unmissables list, which has I think about 50 people in it, so it's a more reasonable number of people to actually.
Hey, we're back now. There was a bit of a technical difficulty there.
That
Linux.
Was fun.
Whoa.
There are no drivers for it.
There are no drivers for Linux. As you can see, stability is not what Linux is known for.
I mean, it is, but...
Not when there's a UI. Just no drivers.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Okay.
So are you using Chromium right now? Is that it?
No, I'm using... So before the show, I mentioned that I was updating Chrome, and I updated from Chrome 35, if you can believe it, to Chrome 43.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
Yeah, it is a huge jump. And so you'd wonder, why didn't it update in, the 8 months that, it's been installed? Or I guess it's been installed since 13.10, so October of 2013. Why was there no update? And that is a great question. Why wouldn't it update? because Chrome on Ubuntu is different than Chrome everywhere else.
That's really that seems like a poor decision on the.
You need to update it through apt-get or.
I don't know, because whenever I would update through apt-get, like I would normally do, it wouldn't be like a choice or anything, so it didn't seem like...
Did you not add the repository, or...?
The repository is added and everything, but it would just never update. I don't know.
Weird. Huh.
Maybe they stopped updating that particular repository at some point?
I'm guessing that's what it probably was.
But that's defeats the purpose of a repository.
Kind of.
Well, no, it's probably since... whatever company owns Ubuntu, what is their name?
Canonical,
yeah.
Because they don't support Ubuntu after the next short-term release.
Yeah, but
this
is 14.04. It should be long-term until 16.04.
Oh.
And if I recall correctly too, like if there's a particular repo for Chrome, I know that Google has like a separate repo that they just use for Chrome. It seems weird that they would not update that. Like
I don't know.
that it would just be one Chrome repo, because I know that's what I have on here. I have a special Chrome repo that just...
Maybe I did it wrong.
I don't know.
Yeah, at the Computer Science Labs at UMM, we have Chrome installed, and there's a repository that does it. I think it self-updates as well.
Mm-hmm.
If not, though, I think our Puppet scripts should update it every 6 hours. So the Chrome stays up to date, whereas Firefox, because we're in Fedora 18, it was version 26, which doesn't work with anything anymore, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Updates. What are those things?
I don't know. What are those things? Well, speaking of updates, I had some updating trouble today, actually.
In addition to the Chrome stuff?
Yeah. So I use Synergy. Synergy is a great product. It lets you have one mouse and one keyboard, and then you can have as many computers as you want, and you can just mouse and keyboard on them virtually. So that's wonderful, right? Sounds great. Yeah. Problem is, the version of Synergy I was using on Windows, it had a conflict with a Windows update a few months ago, and I've pretty much just been living with it since then. And so the Windows update changed some kernel level thing, and basically, whenever you'd click on a window, it wouldn't necessarily get foreground focus. So, let's say you had Audacity and Chrome overlaid on top of each other, like you could see a little bit of both. Well, if you would click on the one behind it, so if Audacity was in front and Chrome was in back, if you clicked on Chrome, you'd expect it to appear in front of Audacity now. Well, that wouldn't necessarily happen, due to this bug. And, so I thought, okay, well, this is annoying. I can't live my life like this. So what I decided to do is just turn off Synergy whenever I wasn't using it. So that's a great solution, great middle ground. Well, so now I thought, hey, I've got 2 hours. I got some time before the show. I'm gonna totally update Synergy to the last free version, and I'm gonna totally just make it work. It's gonna be great. Nope, totally broke it in every conceivable way.
Oh gosh.
Yep. So then I thought, okay, well, clearly the paid version must have the solution, right? So then I went and bought it, and nope, same story, no difference. So I have to do more troubleshooting later. For some reason, okay, so that weird focusing bug, that's been fixed as far as it can be. It they addressed it in an update in 1.7 or something. So that's good. Yeah. But the problem I'm having now is the server can't see my computer, so can't see the real server can't see my computer, but it's funny because it used to. So I don't know why.
Yeah, that's really strange.
Mm-hmm. But
well, it's open source. Go fix it.
Yeah, but Synergy, it's great. I'm glad I paid them finally. Now they can be happy.
We can use that $10 to fix the problem you're having, or the $29.
Yeah, I did the cheaper one. I don't need SSL.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, eavesdrop on me. Go ahead, try it.
Well, they're just over a local network.
Yeah, it is over local. I don't know what the point of SSL is, really.
What even is SSL? I say that, but basically, like, at least 90% of 50% of my work has to do with SSL now, and I love it.
It's dangerous.
But that's why I say, what is SSL? Because SSL is most of half my life.
Do any of your websites travel secure traffic, like HTTPS, or?
All of my work websites do. I just this weekend, for some reason, starting on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes, last night, I decided to just start generating my free SSL certificates from Gandhi.net, because
Oh, nice.
Gandhi.net is a cool registrar that gives you free certificates. And I did that. And I don't have anything up on any of the websites I own through Gandhi.net right now. So none of them are 100% encrypted yet. But the one that I'm using, for this thing that I'm building right now, which is to keep in contact with my family while we're overseas, that will be fully encrypted. So that'll be fun. I just need to finish that first, which is, kind of part one.
Kind of like Heroku, because Heroku just has SSL on already, so I can just forward things over, which is super convenient for me.
That's right. So I think johnsonandmen.org then would be SSL friendly, and SSH friendly technically, but that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm going to test that out right now. Keep talking. I'm going to test that out.
We're going to keep talking.
So I've set links to everything to include HTTPS, and HTTP should redirect to HTTPS. I'm not sure. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm too poor. I should get into it, but I'm poor.
But doesn't Cloudflare have something? Because I route all my domains through Cloudflare.
Mm-hmm.
It's all but one, I think. I don't remember. Maybe Hey Get Back to Work doesn't, but they do something with SSL too. But you might need to have a certificate on the server that you can have access to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where to begin with any of the certificate stuff, or even doing the integration into the actual code. I just have no clue.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, let me tell you, Ryan. You want to see the product of the last 6 months of by 6 months I mean a month and a half of my work?
I love your time compression ratio, so sure.
What can I say? I'm good with the math. Not all of this can be applied to anything. But some of it can. I built a self-help guide for SSL certificates that we use at work.
Mm-hmm.
So the U offers SSL certificates for a bunch of people, mostly exclusively people who develop applications at the U to use stuff like Shibboleth for authentication, and they interface with PeopleSoft to get student records or staff records or all that stuff. But there's a public-facing guide that just tells you how to set up an SSL certificate, request it, and install it on web servers. And I mean, really what it is it's a collation of resources from a bunch of different places, including a couple of certificate authorities, some of the stuff that we've developed over the years, and then, of course, the stuff that's kind of specific to the use thing. So don't email sslcerts@umn.edu because they won't give you the access code because you're not staff.
Makes sense.
But however, everything else is still valid. You can learn about how certificates work, and you can use some really awesome stuff that I wrote and other people that I know who are really cool, definitely cooler than me, wrote.
I should forward this to lab manager professor at Morris, because we have our CentOS 5 subversion repository that runs track that has a self-signed certificate that expired in January 2013.
Well, now you don't need to worry about expiration or anything else. You can get an actual, legit SSL certificate signed by Komodo, which is one of the largest CAs out there and most respected ones. And it comes with a U of M. It looks like it's from the U of M because it is from the U of M. You just have to ask us nicely. I'm actually one of the apps.
There's no share button on this website. Come on.
What's that?
There's no share button on this website.
Yeah, well, I didn't build I didn't build that part. I just put the content in it. I helped to build this part, but I didn't build it on my own. There's been about a team of 5 people that have never met each other over the course of about 5 years that have built this. So I'm just the latest.
The installation instructions for Apache web servers is not found.
What? Good to know. That's really gross. Because I just tested that literally this morning, and it was working. Seriously, all of these are dead?
I didn't test them all yet, but
I'm testing them all.
Yeah, they're all dead. Yes.
Well, crap. I wasn't going to work.
That was fast.
It's time for me to get back to work, it sounds like.
I think that might be a show.
That might be a show. All right, I guess I'm done. I'm done plugging my work. That
may or may
never
not
done.
work.
Well, it will work by the time you're listening to this, dear listener.
Exactly, dear listener.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there we go.
I think we have time for one more topic. What do we want to go
Let's
for?
do it. You can kill mine. Mine can keep.
Okay, yours can keep.
Even though there's a real cute picture of an animal.
Well,
that's
no, don't delete it all. We'll put it into the next show notes.
All right.
Yeah. See, there's just like overflow. Okay, I guess we can just go with the established order here then, if you want to.
Let's go for it.
Okay. So
Jinx?
my mouse here is, I don't know, is it going to do it again? Of course, when I want, oh, there it goes. It's glowing red because it's angry that it hasn't been charged. And the reason I was asking before on the fringe if Brian's mouse actually tells him that it wants to be charged is that for some reason, even though I have the software installed on this computer here, it never tells me that it's out of battery or nearing out of battery, ever.
I assume it just doesn't communicate it. Let me open up my fancy schmancy.
It definitely does communicate it, because when you open the software manually, it says exactly how much battery life you have left.
Oh, so is yours like empty?
What do you mean empty?
Because here, I'll send a screenshot.
I think when it says, when it's red, it has like 10% left, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd think they would at least...
Okay, yeah, you're right. It is empty. According to the picture, anyway.
Well,
yeah.
maybe they'll get to it eventually.
I don't know. Yeah. So I have those same kind of little red or green LEDs when it's charged, but when it's not charged, it's red LEDs, and it doesn't tell me on the computer, which is where I'm normally looking. Yeah.
I like that Logitech went the extra step to put in RGB LEDs rather than just
lights.
Ooh, we should hack the firmware and just start flashing colors.
Oh yeah, we
totally.
can do that.
Disco party.
Do that, yeah.
From the battery indicator lights.
Okay, so our last topic here that we have time for is paying for educational materials. So, what do you think? How do you feel about that? How do you pay? How do you feel about paying to learn something?
I think it depends on how you value what you're learning. So, if it's something like learning how to do web development, I don't think you should pay for that because, well, maybe you could, but I think there's so much online, at least for like more basic HTML, CSS, and things.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
You should not be paying for that. Whereas other things like if you're trying to learn higher, calculus, higher math kind of things, you could teach yourself, but it might be helpful to learn from someone else because you can get much more, because there is more of a concrete answer when it's, oh, look at this, that would make it easier to look up online as well. But I think it depends on the subject. There's a lot of free stuff out there, but I think the more in depth you want to go, the probably better experience you're going to get from paying for something.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree for the entry level knowledge, like as you said, the CSS, the HTML, the JavaScript. You probably can pick that up for free. That seems reasonable. But for those higher level concepts where the things aren't necessarily concrete in their answers and their concepts more so than they are actual things you type, then paying for it tends to be more educational.
Totally. And like one of the things kind of as an extension of that I'm kind of thinking about is like lynda.com. Have you guys ever used Lynda?
Oh yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Like I love Lynda, but the main reason why I use it is because it's free to me as a university student. I actually know some of the people who procured that for us, who got that for us at the U, and like I high five them on a near daily basis because it's so awesome to have access to that many courses about so many varied things and such.
I have a friend who would probably bow down to them. He loves it.
Yeah,
he absolutely loves it.
They'd be so happy to hear that. They're like really tired out right now because they're preparing for like a new thing that's going on with it. But yeah,
I've done one course, the Swift thing, a couple weeks ago, and I have my friend's done a bunch. He told me about it. I didn't know of its existence till then, and I know many others have. I think it's a wonderful service to have through UM.
Definitely.
The trick is that as I near graduation, I'm like, but would I actually like use it were I to have to I pay were I to pay for it?
Right.
Like that's the trick for me because like I don't know if I'd just be like, well, at that point I may as well look at going to conferences, or I may as well look at something else, because I mean it's like what, $30 a month or something
Yeah,
like that.
it is somewhat pricey if you don't have. I mean, in theory, like all things, like all creative products, like Photoshop, for example, one client should be able to pay for the purchase of the software. So,
totally.
If you actually used what you learned and then applied it, in theory, one client would totally pay all of the software costs or the learning costs. Like, I feel like that's what the model says.
And you probably wouldn't have it for, monthly for years on end.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Have it for a month or two to learn what you need, and then you'd be done. And, like, it has a lot on there, which I think makes it really good for education, because, they pay one giant fee, but access to tons and tons of people.
Mm-hmm.
And that works really well while you're in school. You can kind of poke around different things. And
Yeah.
It's like self-training for your job.
Absolutely.
And then, if it's, $30 for one training that really helps your value as a worker in whatever field you're in, can really be beneficial. And then $30 is probably relatively cheap.
Exactly.
Oh, totally. It's absolutely relatively cheap, but it's weird how like I have that blocked now, right? Where I'm like, well, I use it pretty frequently now, but would I shell out the the $30 a month, or would I?
I probably wouldn't.
Really know. I don't think I would either.
I probably wouldn't either, but it's maybe for that particular content in at a certain time, maybe month to month, as you guys put it. I think that maybe I would. I think that the conferences like that, I'm totally. Yeah, I just went to a conference actually yesterday, which is a little bit different. It wasn't for developer stuff. It was for the communication side.
Yeah, I saw your tweets about that.
Yeah, oh my gosh. The U of M Communicators Forum took really good care of us. We had some awesome presentations. It was a lot of fun.
That's great.
But I've gone to 2 conferences in the span of a month, and I am totally addicted to conferences now, guys. I'm going to try to go to WWDC next time if I can. If I can't, I'm going to go to Layers. And if I can't go to Layers, I might just go to San Francisco.
Just go to AllConf.
Lurk.
And then get denied.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I know.
Start learning iOS development now. You can apply for an education version if you make a cool app.
I know, that's what I'm thinking, and I think I have an idea for one that might be kind of interesting. It's based on the idea that's in Warble, which is a Twitter client that I tried to build a while ago. Did I ever tell you guys about Warble?
I don't remember.
No.
It's basically a minimalist Twitter client, which is to say
one tweet
that
per screen.
That's right, 1 tweet per screen, and you only get to refresh the page once every 30 minutes.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
So you only get 1 tweet every half hour. And you can like tweak it a little bit, but you can see why somebody like me who follows 1,400 people would enjoy it. I'm thinking something like that for iOS might be interesting.
Hey, Brandon, I am genuinely interested in developing for iOS. If you want to go into this with someone else, I am very interested.
I'll help you port it to Android.
Let's do it. We got it. Let's do this thing, guys.
Channel.
That'd be awesome. New Slack channel. All right. But yeah, I think I think other than that, yeah, I definitely feel more comfortable paying for like in-person experiences than I would for online stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I really like online stuff too. I think it's pretty darn cool and pretty darn valuable. I've learned almost everything I know from tutorials or from Codecademy or Lynda or something like that.
So taking it from that WWDC angle, so you have to pay, how much is it for WWDC these days?
I think it's like 1,600. Yeah.
So
plus airfare, your travel, and lodging for that entire week.
Which is another 1,000 essentially.
Yeah. So as long as you're a developer, you get access to whatever videos and documentation they publish during WWDC, as far as I know, right?
Yep, absolutely. I've watched them a couple times.
And so do you have that's for free, I think, also. Like
After
you don't have
pay
to,
the 100. Yeah.
So you do have to pay the 100?
It was free for all developers last year, I think.
That's what I thought too.
Even if you don't pay the iOS developer program thing?
I think
so. Wow.
Because
Apple
Nice.
last year's WWDC was ridiculous in the amount of how open it got, and the new developer tools, policies, and then third-party keyboards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's the biggest thing I got from last year's.
So let's say it wasn't free. How much would you pay for, instead of going to the conference, to WWDC, how much would you have just paid for the videos and the documentations and things you could get online afterwards? Like, would that be valuable at all?
I think I would join the iOS developer program for it.
Just $100.
Just the $100.
Yeah.
But because I'm me and I don't really like I have played around with Swift and I've played around with Objective-C before, but I haven't actually programmed an application that I've actually wanted to use day to day in it. I feel like I probably wouldn't pay much more than $100.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that somebody would, which is to say, I'm sure that kind of info has like real professional value to people and could someday have professional value to me. But right now, as a student who is, basically a novice, by definition, in those languages, I probably wouldn't care.
Right.
Like JS Conf or something like that. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'd be all over that. I'd probably pay 100, 150 for like JS Conf stuff. But very fortunate that most of those places give their stuff out for free. So
yeah. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to pay, a premium for the in-person experience, especially for the chance
and network with others.
Yeah, exactly. The questions and networking is what you're paying for in that case.
Yeah.
But I would be hesitant to just pay for videos and tutorials.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Aren't the YouTube tutorials of, 5-year-old videos of like 13-year-olds
with unregistered Hypercam too?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. So the reason I asked about this in particular question is a few years ago when I built the Nexus CMS for the first time, I was using WordPress, of course, and WordPress is by definition disgusting and should be destroyed. But that said, I used a theme called Hybrid Theme, and it was, pretty popular and great. But for some reason, in order to get the documentation, you had to pay for like a $20 membership, and then you would get all the documentation you could ever want and access to the forums to ask the person who made the system questions and stuff. And so I paid the $20 and, I used it and got my documentation. Did it help me so much? Honestly, I'm going to have to say no. You know what I could have done instead? Could have just read the source code. And so that was weird.
Was the source code documented in line? Or?
Yeah, it was totally documented in line. So, like, basically what you were paying for is documentation online and some examples of how to use various functions and classes and things. So
that's so weird.
I don't know if I would pay $20 for that.
Yeah, and so in retrospect, I've always been kind of burned by documentation should be free, examples should be free, and if they're not there, why am I using your product?
That's true.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, in that light, definitely.
But the guy, he did offer support also in that package. So maybe it was more of him offering support instead of just docs. I don't know. It's hard to separate the two, but paying for docs.
Support docs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, like, for some, like, the fun word is enterprise, right? For some uses where people are like, I need this to not break, otherwise people will die and or will lose lots of money. Why you'd want to go for that? But I mean, for somebody like us who's like learning stuff, testing things out, it doesn't really make sense to pay for that sort of thing because somebody else is going to document it better, or maybe the creator has documented it better for free. In just a way that maybe isn't the most convenient, or who knows, it might be more convenient. It's just not the way that maybe somebody is generally most likely to experience documentation, and on a website or something like that. But totally.
And then the other thing that just came out is at Google I/O, Google worked with Udacity to make this. I think it was $2,000 worth class. Like it's $200 per lesson, and I think there's 10 lessons, so it's $2,000. And so it's what they're calling the Android Developer Nanodegree, and I don't know about this. It seems a little bit expensive. Yeah, $200 a month. I meant okay, maybe not 2,000, but still, it's quite a bit.
Oh, so it's a subscription.
Yeah, and it takes 9 to 12 months to complete this, so it could be pretty expensive.
Yeah, and just from a marketing perspective, I don't like the phrase nanodegree. It's like
it's not big enough.
Yeah, it's like if I'm paying $200 a month, I want more than a nanodegree out of this, guys.
So you do get a certificate, and you do get, I don't know, that's all you get. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't understand what Google and Udacity. I don't understand Udacity. Basically, they're the whole scheme of Udacity paying for what exactly is weird.
Totally. I mean, like, Linda has something like that, too, where you can get a certificate out of it, but it's basically like a LinkedIn certificate.
Exactly.
And we already get that it included in
Like,
our tuition pays for that.
you could just endorse me on LinkedIn to say that I know how to develop for Android, and that's basically the same.
It feels like that's the same even as a Nanodegree, definitely.
Yeah.
In fact, I might do that for you right now. I'm going to try to like endorse you on LinkedIn for something like ridiculous, like Nanodegrees or something.
You know, I'm a Nanodegree designer. Endorse me for that.
Exactly.
In fact, that might be relevant later. Yeah. So I think that's a really interesting thing. Have you ever done a Udacity course? Either of you?
I haven't. I've done like Code School before, which looks kind of similar, and I've done a edX course, but I've never done that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I did one to learn how to do the Android app that I made a couple semesters ago.
Uh-huh.
And so I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Does that sound like it? The show?
Yeah, I think that's the show. I think
All right.
Brian had some internet issues. Yeah, we're all having issues today, Chrome crashing,
It's one of those
internet
days.
crash. It is one of those days. Well, I don't know if he's coming back, but we'll see. If he does come back, then you can disregard this message. But if he doesn't, you can... Oh, he's back!
Hey, welcome back,
Hey.
Brian.
I was just going to tell everyone where everybody can find you on the internet.
He was gonna. He almost let me did it, but he knew I'd butcher it. So.
But since you're back, you can tell everyone where you can be found on the internet.
You can find me on Twitter at theman479 or the more related tech account tech479. I check and I will see everything, so that's probably good and bad.
He reads all your tweets, every single one.
All of the good
Some with more interest and not readability.
attention.
Interest in the
or-
attention
Yeah.
than not, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where
Yeah.
can we find you, Brandon?
You can find me also on Twitter. I'm at Brandon_MN. That's Brandon as in my name, and underscore as in underscore, and MN is in the abbreviation for the state of Minnesota. Woohoo, go Gophers. Where I will be tweeting probably most frequently about my exploits in Europe, which will start occurring basically tomorrow. I will read all of your @replies. If you're an awesome person out there, which most of you are, you should let me know with an @reply, and then I'll add you to my list of people that I read exclusively and completely from start to finish. Especially now that I have this fancy new Tweetbot app, thanks to Brian.
Whoa.
Whoa, terrific. Whoa. Gotta be careful.
Did I just? Yeah, I got to be careful lest
I think
Paul
you just
and,
warbled.
Todd come. Oh lordy.
And of course, you can find me just about everywhere, but especially on the Twitter at Ryan Amar, and of course on the Google Plus, which is where I post pictures and very interesting things throughout the week. Also, just like how you're going on a very wonderful vacation to the far reaches of the Earth, I'm going to be taking a trip also.
Nice.
Do you know where my trip is going?
Where's it going?
My trip is going to St. Paul to jury duty.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations.
Yeah,
Are you gonna send someone to jail?
I don't know. I will find out all about it on Monday morning at 8:30.
Oh, nice.
And
That's gonna be
my
so much
sister
fun.
and cousin did jury duty 3 weeks ago, and no, 2 weeks ago because this week isn't done yet. They did it together. They both pushed it off from their school. And
Oh yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot of U of M students and college.
Yeah. I also had to, it was literally scheduled for me during the first 3 weeks of class, sometime in the first 3 weeks of, winter semester or whatever. And
Oh gosh.
that was a terrible time because, you need those first 3 weeks of class, turns out.
Yeah.
And so I rescheduled it to June, and here I am now.
Oh my
Perfect.
gosh. Did you have to go to where do you have to go for that? Just to the courthouse or?
Yeah, just in St. Paul, yeah.
Oh,
I'll just take the
that
train.
That building is so beautiful. I've walked past it a couple of times,
Oh, yeah.
and in fact, I'm probably gonna walk past it tomorrow or in the next couple of days. I
Yep.
love that building.
Mhm.
I don't really ever want to have to go in there, but
No,
I
not
love
ideally. Yeah. So apparently they take your phone away, or you can't have it in the courtroom. So I probably won't be live tweeting whatever I do, but you can be
Aw.
assured that I will tweet about it afterwards.
it. All
I think-
right.
My sister said there was Wi-Fi there in their waiting room.
Yeah, I imagined
Yeah.
it. I bought a
The other one
hardcover
on
book.
Monday, she wasn't called in for the rest of the week, so
Oh, okay, that's nice. I bought a hardcover book just in case. I have plenty of reading to do.
it's good.
Yeah.
You should delay the live tweeting of it so you can be like, LOL, this dude's totes guilty, guys.
I might have
just
to do
like-
that.
and then like totally like waffle, but just like delay it. So it'd be like, oh, totally guilty. Oh, I don't know, that last witness really got me going. LOL. But just be like really, really like exaggerated about it the whole time. I know you can't like talk about the actual case.
Oh, Rafflecopper, that judge looks pissed.
Yeah. Oh dang! Objection.
If I were to do it, I might make a different Twitter account, like a parody account,
and talk about Your Honor, but put Your Honor in quotes every time.
Yeah, exactly. That would actually be a lot of fun for me while I have nothing to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well,
do it. I look forward to it.
I might do it. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Has been.
This has been what episode is this? We're only in number 3, so what episode is this? I forget.
Episode Trace or Trois or
languages.
A little less.
Or,
okay.
How do you say 3 in German? Is it like sauerkraut or something?
Not quite.
Close. Well, you can.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know. You could Google that. Probably not.
Probably not.
Well, it's been fun, and I guess we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye, guys. Happy Friday.
I have no more campaigns because I want an oath. My agenda is the same since the day I swore an oath. Since the day I swore an oath. Since the day I swore an oath. Get it, like 1999. Get it, like 1999. It has been and still is a hard time, but tonight we get it like it's 1999.
How do I remove this like drawing stuff? I don't want it to have a floating pair of sunglasses every time I hover over the screen.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my beautiful capybara. Actually, and I just could not. I can't get it to feel right no matter what I do, which might be because the trackpad's totally busted. Actually, I don't know if I can count in hex.
So it's like
1.
Tons of zeros and then 1AD2, and so it said input interpretation February 1st AD.
Actually, I literally bought it from the Amazon rainforest, guys.
That, of course, because battery trees, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't even get it. Chrome was just crashing and saying, you have too many tabs open. It's like, I have one freaking tab open, you guys. What the heck?
Ghost tabs. Phantom tabs.